right, here we go. All right, BJ. Um, how long have you been in the sport, and what kind of got you into it? What made you start arm wrestling?
Okay. I'm just now entering, I believe, my 7th year because I got some updates on Facebook the other day when I had my table built. And matter of fact, it was today, 7 years ago. A guy that I work with built me a table out of wood and everything. I went to an upholsterer and had some pads made, and that was what I started with. The way I found out about arm wrestling, I was at the end of a kind of a little crappy relationship, about a 6 to 8 month relationship with a girl that just wasn't going nowhere. And I remember scrolling through Facebook one day and seeing Wayne Withers, Eric Graham, and Brad Mann all went to a state arm wrestling tournament in Jackson. And I didn't know any of those guys except for Eric. We went to the same high school together. And he had placed and won a trophy. And I was like, well, man, that looks fun. The next time y'all have a practice, let me know. So a couple of weeks went by and I didn't hear anything from him. And I was pretty adamant about wanting to get to learn. You know, I was always decent at arm wrestling in high school, not knowing anything about it, but I wouldn't say I was unbeatable because there was a guy named James Riley in town that nobody could beat. He was just a man. So a couple of more weeks went by and I stayed in Eric's ear, and he finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a practice together. And we had about 15 or 20 guys there, and I was by far the biggest guy there, and I didn't win a match against anybody. And they all knew what a hook was and what a top roll was. And I had no idea. I just thought I was going to be big and strong, and I was wrong. And one of the guys, matter of fact, it was Eric Graham's dad. He kind of pulled me off to the side and was trying to show me what a top roll was. And he said, and of course, he's like, sit down under the table. And I had no idea what I was doing. So he's like, you don't get it today, but when you figure it out, you're going to be good. And that was it. I'll never forget that. But that's kind of how I got started. I saw, a buddy doing it, and it was something I wanted to at least try. And I'm glad I did. I definitely enjoy it. I enjoy all you guys.
And kind of how long did it take you before you got to where you were starting to get pretty good as far as winning some matches consecutively and stuff like that?
That's what I tell a lot of people getting into this sport. It's something you can see yourself get better at almost from practice to practice. Like, you can go to the gym and work out, and from day to day, you don't really see the definition and the changes. But with arm wrestling, what I noticed, at least with me, I was learning from day to day, and I was getting to where I couldn't beat one guy one day, and then the next day I could beat him, literally in a day or two. But my first tournament I went to, I set a small goal that I wanted to at least win a match, and I won 2. So that kind of had me addicted. It was at the Hideaway in Jackson, and the atmosphere and all the guys and everything kind of had me really into it from the get-go. I want to say I came in, I want to say 3rd that tournament. And so the next tournament I went to, my goal was to win, to try to win. And I want to say I finished 1st at a Michael Todd event in Shreveport. And that was right-handed, of course. Left-handed, I was terrible, still terrible. So it went from one tournament to the next. It was basically, I didn't know how to top roll, and then all of a sudden I was learning how to top roll, and that definitely made a difference. Wayne Withers would show me a lot of how he was top rolling and stuff like that. So I would take that and try to watch videos on Facebook and stuff like that to replicate movements that I saw top rollers doing. And I just, tried building off of that, from practice to practice.
Okay. Now, to my knowledge, you don't really train a lot with weights, more so as just table time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's probably my biggest downfall. Back when I was in college, I played baseball, and we lifted weights, twice a day. We were big time in the weight room. So I can't say I've never lifted weights, because at one time I did enjoy lifting. But since I started arm wrestling, and to be honest, the last 15 years, I've been to the weight room, I think, twice. I went with Sean Hancock a couple of times, and I want to say I was kind of getting in the groove of going. And I want to say he had an event that was like out of town or maybe even out of the country, and he was gone for a couple of weeks. And I just kind of gave it up after that. I remember whenever I was learning, hearing John Brzezinski talk a lot about table time and, push-ups and stuff like that, but not so much the weight room. So I kind of took that and ran with it myself. I put my first couple of years, I put so much time into going to tournaments and practices and learning from this guy and that guy. I think that was very beneficial. And I tell people all the time, I do use a Captains of Crush 3 hand gripper, and I use it upside down like this, not like that. And I've gotten to where I can hold that thing closed for almost a minute. And at my restaurant, I let people try it all the time, and I haven't met another human at my restaurant that can even close it. So I think that's beneficial when people are trying to slip out, like in the top row. If I take their hand, they're trying to slip. If you notice, I win a lot of my matches with people slipping, and I've still got their hand, and I'm able to finish. And I attribute that 100% to that hand gripper, because that is the only thing that I train other than table time and tournaments and stuff. So I'm not saying that's the best thing in the world to be doing. I need to have my ass in the gym, don't get me wrong. But I hear people say all the time that hand grippers are not beneficial, and I would really argue that point up and down. I do think it helps, at least to some point.
Yeah, well, whatever you're doing, it sure is working pretty good.
I mean, that's it. That's the hand gripper thing. I've got, don't get me wrong, the Lord blessed me with a good hand and a good wrist. And to be 340 pounds, I'm fairly quick. And that's my thing, is I try to get to a spot that I'm comfortable in before you can get to a spot that you're comfortable in. And a lot of times it works, until I run into that guy that's just way stronger than me, or, knows more of the strap than I do, or something like that. But yeah, speed and my hand is what I was blessed with, to be a big guy.
Ike Ford says that you got a good taste in shirts.
Oh, yeah. I was telling him, I figured, I was walking out here to get on this thing, and I was like, dang, I got on that Alabama shirt. So at least I was representing Alabama and Glenn Brooks. But yeah, no doubt.
And do you know Ryan Bellinger? Have you heard that name?
Ryan Bellinger. Why does that sound familiar?
He was at Alabama State this past year. I think he pulls 98s and 220s. But anyway, says you're a bad man.
Does he got like a tribal tattoo? Did he pull up in the supers and train with Jerome Loud? That
I'm
name
not sure.
Sounds really familiar. I bet I would know him if I saw his face. I know a lot of people by their face.
Yeah, I think he lives. I think he's in the Carolinas with Ike and them.
Okay. Hey, well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So, with your match you had with Donnie Underwood, it was a pretty dominant victory after the first round. What were your thoughts coming into the match? What was your preparation?
Well, we'd had a little practice here in Hattiesburg, and I was working on some things in the hook, and I knew Don was going to expect me to come out and go up top. So I was really trying to surprise him more than anything. Not that I'm great in the hook or anything, but I thought maybe if I could turn him in, that it'd take him off of his game. And boy, I was wrong. I was able to set the hook, but he was able to just drag me right off the pad and pin me with no problem. So if you go back and watch that match, as soon as it's over with, I'm shaking my head. I'm ready to go again, because I wanted to make that adjustment. And to be honest, I wasn't confident, because his hand felt so strong. I wasn't even confident that my adjustment was going to work, but I knew I had to go somewhere else. And I knew it was going to be a spot that I was going to be more comfortable in. And it just so happened that, it worked, it worked to my favor, especially when we went to the strap, and another place that I thought that he would have probably gotten me. But I was able to get to a good spot and get him in that round. And then what I was telling you about the whole hand gripper thing later in the final round, was able to take his hand again, and he was basically trying to slip, and I was able to hold on to his hand and able to finish it without having to go to the straps in that round. But yeah, man, I appreciate Don for even taking a match with me, and Michael Todd for letting me come up there and pull, and then also inviting me back again to pull with Paul Lynn in July. And that's going to be a tough match. And Paul Lynn's a giant killer, so there's no way I think I'm just going to go in there and be big and win, because that's not how it's going to work. But yeah, it's a good opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah, they posted it a little while back. I'm going to go on the car with John Brezink and all those guys that are going to be pulling. But yeah, I'll be pulling Paul in. I'm pretty sure he'll be coming back from a match overseas where he's going to have to drop some weight for that match. But or it could have been that he was gaining weight. I can't remember. I may have read that wrong. But I know he's going to be well trained up and ready to go, because he's not going to go overseas and not be ready. Paul's the type that's going to be 100% ready. So he's, I pulled Paul before the practice, and that was years ago when he and I were both learning. So I can't really take nothing from that. But he's a beast, and he, coming off the win off Bath. So he's got some strength and some stamina and some momentum all together. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Is that going to be pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's going to be that Monster Factory. It's going to be the second round of the Monster Factory. Yeah, he was, like I said, I got a call from Michael one day asking me, was I interested? And I was like, sure, that'd be fun. And he said, well, let me call you back and I'll let you know if it works out. And he called me back and said it's on. So we're going to do it in I think July 9th, if I recall correctly.
And I saw a picture. I haven't seen a video, but when you were at the Monster Factory, it looked like you gripped up with Corey a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
No excuses at all, man. I gripped up. He comes walking in. I think he brought his wife some pizza or something. And I was like, man, I'd love to fill you. And we went over there, and it was after the tournament, of course. So I gripped up. We went into a hook, and he just pulled me right to the back of the pad, no problem, and took me straight to the side, no problem at all. And that's why I was telling a couple of people leading up to the Krasmir match that it was not going to be. I've never pulled Krasy, but I know what I felt when I felt Corey, and it felt in a hook. It felt, you didn't want to go in there, that's for sure. We did a ready go too, just messing around, trying to go outside, and I was able to get in his fingers a little bit, but I didn't take his hand, and I don't think I'd have been even close to being able to finish him. He's just something else, man. I'm telling you, that's the first time we've pulled one time left-handed in Arkansas, and he smashed me. Matter of fact, that's, other than Cody Merritt, that's probably the strongest left arm I've ever felt at the time. But right-handed, I'd love to pull him one day, but I do. I think he's ahead of me, and I have no problem admitting that.
Yeah, it seems like besides him being really strong, his ability to turn in and cut is abnormal.
And it was, well, I'll tell you, other than us going straight to the hook, when we opened back up and kind of was going to go, kind of ready to go, his ability to clamp down on your wrist was phenomenal. I mean, it was a very strong pressure that very few hands you're going to feel, but he's strong. There's no doubt.
The chat says BJ beats Lynn Southern style. So you have a match coming up in Oklahoma against Matt Sartori.
Yes, sir. Paul Talia set this up recently. I think he was supposed to pull Austin Jaggers originally, but he announced today that Austin's going to be pulling. Who was it?
I saw a thing where he's pulling a Bryce Talton.
Yeah, Bryce Talton. He's pulling Bryce Talton. That's what it is. So anyways, once that changed, he asked me would I be interested in pulling Matt, and I was like, sure. I met Matt in Dallas, I want to say about 5 years ago, and we pulled one time right-handed, and I beat him, but that was 5 years ago. That we've both grown a lot since then, and that was the only time we've ever pulled. So it's I've never been to Oklahoma, so I look at it as a chance to go see a part of the world I've never been to and pull in a pretty cool event. It's going to be at a baseball field. The tournament anyway is going to be at the baseball field. So, and anything that Paul Italia has his hands on here recently is I've been to a couple. Let's see, I went to Washington and Louisiana State, and both were top-notch tournaments with excellent awards and just good events. So I know he's not going to let us down over there either.
So Ryan is he might not remember, is at Alabama, but he was in the 198s. He swept the 198 class. I don't know if you
I
paid too much attention to it.
I definitely watch. I would just have to see him. If I saw his face, I would know who he is, especially if we spoke.
Let's see. I think your camera's off.
Yeah, hold on. Somebody's trying to call me. Let's see.
All right, all good.
Let's see.
Ike Ford said Matt is a strong guy. He pulled him in Arkansas a few years ago.
Am I back?
Not yet.
How about now?
Not yet.
I can see you now.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, somebody's trying to call me.
Yeah, I looked at some videos of the Matt guy, and the only thing I could find was from like 2015. He pulled Nate Adams. It looked like a WAL tournament.
Yep.
And I've seen him pull Tucker Keating, but like I said, it was from 2015, and Nate beat him. And I think Tucker beat him also right-handed. Y'all's match is right-handed?
Yeah, it'll be right-handed. And like I said, he's gotten much better since then. He's not matter of fact, he just won a tournament here recently, right and left-handed. And I believe he won the left hand overall in that tournament as well. He didn't win the right hand overall. But yeah, he's a tough guy. And like I said, we met in Dallas a few years ago. He's a top-notch Christian guy. I got to meet he and his mom. I think since then, I think his mom's passed away. She was a very nice lady. But yeah, he's just not really a Facebook posting or even a YouTube posting of his videos. So there's not much to check up on him. Yeah. And me, on the other hand, I've got like 9,000 videos you can go watch. So he's got plenty to see on me. But yeah, I know Matt. He's a big guy. You know, he's a 300+ pound guy with a big, strong hand, and he can hook and top roll. You know, I don't know if he's much of a presser or anything like that, but he's a strong guy. They call him Mr. Incredible. So he lives up to that.
Georgia Arm Fight says, who is stronger, Brad or Brandon Mann?
That just depends on the arm. Brandon Mann's right hand is ridiculous, and Brad Mann's left hand is ridiculous. The thing about Brad, though, you put Brad in a strap right-handed, and he's beating some people that you just wouldn't think. I mean, so I would say strength-wise, Brad left-handed, strength-wise, Brandon right-handed. But I want to say when Brad and Brandon pull right-handed in the strap, I want to say Brad beats him sometimes. So that's very tough. They're both strong.
Brad is the taller one, correct?
Yeah, Brad's the taller one. And see, the thing about Brandon is he don't even arm wrestle very often. He'll do it once or twice a year, and he's still, to me, they both are two of the most underrated arm wrestlers in arm wrestling. And it may just be because, you know, a lot of times Brad will run brackets and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, he'll run up there real quick and arm wrestle and get back over the brackets. So he can't fully concentrate on what he's doing. But on any given day, Brad Mann's the best left-hand arm wrestler in the room, I promise you. And then same thing with Brandon Mann. If he just wants to show up, he showed up to Louisiana State last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, and came in second to Carl Stanley. He smashed me, which, you know, was right after me and Carl had a war, but it didn't matter. I mean, Brandon's strong as an ox. So, like I said, they're kind of like Jerome Loud. You know, Jerome don't get a whole bunch of hype because he's not a Facebook guy. You know, he's more of a family type person, and that would be how I would explain those two guys. You know, they do arm wrestling, they pull, but they're family guys as well, and they're both very underrated for, you know, the amount of pulling that they have done. They're good.
I agree. Yeah, I remember I've met Brad before, and I met Brandon one time at one of y'all's tournaments, and his hook looked insane. Like,
it's crazy. He's strong, man. I'm telling you.
All right, so there was a post the other day Chance Shaw made about who he wanted people to see him pulling a super match next, and with myself and a lot of other people, they had put your name along with, like, Lachlan came up a lot, and I think Pavlo came up a lot. Does that be something that you would do if it was offered?
Yeah, I mean, I got a ton of respect for Chance, and the thing about Chance is, he's so young, and he's a big social media guy, but he's also a damn good arm wrestler. He's beaten quite a few people that I've never beaten before. So, I'm confident in my style against his style. I'm not saying that I could beat him, but I would love the opportunity to pull it. Whenever I saw that post, he was asking who everybody wanted to see, and I was like, actually, me. I would love to pull you. No disrespect, it's a ton of respect for him. And to be honest, next time I looked down, there was like 34, 35 likes on that. And if you go back and look through that list, my name wasn't mentioned very many times, once or twice. But once I said it, 34, 35 likes, that got people thinking at least, what, damn, maybe we want to see that match. So it got brought up whenever I was talking with, I believe it was the Aussie arm wrestler. After I finished pulling Don that night, I talked with the Aussie arm wrestler, and I want to say it was him, but he was like, no, it may have been Bowen. It may have been Bowen. I'm trying to remember, but they said who would like to see BJ pull Chance, and some people had mentioned on there that they'd like to see it. So, if that's I know Chance is ranked higher than me, and he might be looking for bigger birds to kill, but we both live in the Southeast, and we're bound to run into each other one day. I would just love to fill him. I've went to Chance before asking him, tricks, in the strap. He's a good strap puller, and I wanted to know if there was any advice he could give me. And he was nice and very forthcoming, to chat with me. And that's the one, another thing about this sport is, people are willing to help you. They're not assholes. And so, yeah, I would love to pull Chance one day if it ever gets brought up or if it's ever something that he's interested in. But it's just never happened so far. I want to say the third tournament I ever went to, he was there, and he was a little chubby kid over there in the corner, and he was still busting people back then. So I didn't know who he was at the time, but I've got a picture. It used to be a profile picture, and in the background, you can sit there and you can see him watching me arm wrestle. And that's pretty cool looking back on it now and, seeing how far he's came. But, yeah, if ever given the opportunity, yeah, I'd love to pull with him.
All right. And this weekend, they have y'all are having the Southeastern Regional Championship. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it'll be where Mississippi State usually is.
Yeah, it's at Brewski's, and if you've ever been there, that's a top-notch, venue, and Sean Hancock's putting it on, and he don't ever throw a tournament that's not worth being at. So I don't know who all's coming, but I can tell you that the venue will be excellent, and the tournaments that Sean put on are always excellent. So.
Yeah, I had never been to that place. I've watched the Mississippi States that get put on YouTube, and it looks incredible there.
Well, they use it at Hattiesburg is a college town, and they get people there like Stained and big time bands like that play there. So the venue itself will hold 500 or 600, 700 people pretty easily, and they'll move all the tables out of the way, and it creates a lot of room for people to put chairs down there and sit. And they have an excellent sound system in there and an excellent laser show that they put up that's going on the whole time. It says, welcome to Mississippi, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's an excellent venue. One of the cooler venues that you'll probably ever pull in, outside of a casino in Vegas or something like that. But as far as a local venue, there's not many better. And it's kid friendly. I want to say until 7 o'clock, it's considered a restaurant. So there's always people with kids in there and stuff like that. So they're very lenient, easy to get along with, and just a good venue all the way around.
All right. And I know you're probably not looking past your next match, but is there anyone in particular that's on your mind that you would like to pull or have opportunity to maybe pull?
It's kind of like you said, the Matt Sartori match just came up here within the last week. So basically I'm gonna pull this weekend and just heal my arm up until Oklahoma, and then from then, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again just to kind of have it on the record. I'm going to try to get my ass in the gym between then and July 9th. So hopefully by July 9th, you'll see maybe a more trim, more cut stronger, maybe the actual strongest I would have ever been in the sport, you know, as far as a weight room standpoint. But so that's kind of my opponent, if you will. I want to get the Sartori match out of the way, go enjoy time in Tulsa, see some people up there, come back and actually try to go to the gym. Let that be my opponent between Den and Paul Lynn, because I can guarantee Paul Lynn's going to be at the gym. No doubt.
He looks like he don't ever miss a day.
Man, the first time I met that guy, we were talking. Dave Morocco had flew me up to a tournament, and Paul Lynn was there, and Todd Hutchins, and quite a few other big name people. But I asked Paul that day, I was like, "Man, how old are you? You know, what, 28 or 29?" And don't get me wrong, I know Paul probably watched this, but I want to say at the time he was like 38 or 39 or something, and it blew my mind, dude. I was like, dude, you are in excellent shape. And then, you know, I go on to find out he played, you know, a little pro football, and he's just he's a beast all the way around. But yeah, he blew my mind how young he was, because, you know, he's in such great shape. Not saying he's old, but he's older than I thought he would be.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I thought, you know, low 30s.
No, I'm pretty sure he's like 40, 41 or 42, if I had to guess. Oh. I'm pretty sure.
All right. And to wrap things up, I've asked pretty much everybody that I get on here. Do you have any thoughts on the Devin Larratt Levon match? Any predictions? What you would like to see?
Man, I'm going to go with my prediction, and what I'd like to see is the same thing. I think everybody in the world thinks Levon's going to win, and Levon's going to win easily, and I just don't. Devin's got a way of getting in your head. I think the fact that I don't know, you know, his stamina is so good. I've watched, you know, Levon pulling with that little lighter weight guy. I forgot his name right off the top of my head here. But they've been pulling a lot in a lot of their training videos recently, and that guy gives Levon a pretty good match. And you know, he's a lot lighter weight than Devin is, and you can guarantee Devin's going to come in plump for this one as well. But I just really think that if Devin doesn't get flashed in the first match, which I don't think he will, just because if he don't want to, he won't. I think he's going to sit there and drain him out just like he does everybody else. And, you know, Levon's human too. He's just a big human, and you know he gets paid to do this all the time, his whole life. So, my prediction is Devin Larratt. I'll say 3-1. I think 3-1 Devin Larratt, and that one, if it's one, I think would be the first match. If Devin can get through that first match and still be good to go, I think he wins it. I think he holds him out and wears him out and wins.
Yeah, that's similar to mine. I said that it's like a 6-round thing. So
okay.
But my prediction was that Levon wins the first 2 matches, and I think that the third match Devin will get a stop, and when Devin stops the match, I think it's over.
Well, now that you say it's a 6-round match, I would absolutely agree with your prediction. I wasn't sure whenever you asked me right off, but I do think it's going to come down to stamina. And I think looking at Levon, he's built like me, except in much better shape. And I know that my stamina compared to somebody like Devin Larratt's is not the same. And he's just got so much weight on him. I don't think that he's going to be able to keep up stamina-wise. Don't get me wrong. I think he's probably stronger than Devin, but I think the amount that he's stronger than Devin is going to be more minuscule compared to Devin's stamina compared to his stamina, if you see what I'm saying. Right. I think that's going to be the great equalizer here, and that's Devin's game anyways. And like I said, Devin's going to be trying to get in his head from the get-go. He's trying to get in his head now, talking about the straps and all that. That's all part of his game. He knows what the hell he's doing. So it's just going to all equal out on that table that day. And I find it hard to go against Devin. It's like you never bet against John. It's just hard to bet against Devin too.
Right. Let's check this chat real quick. All right. Well, BJ, I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
It was fun having you. I wish you the best of luck this weekend, even though I'm coming. So
Take
no,
it easy.
I'm just playing. But yeah, thank you for taking time out of your day to come on here, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, brother. I appreciate you wanting to chat with me.
Yeah. We will see you this weekend, brother.
Absolutely. Be safe travels, and yeah, we'll see you this weekend.
All right, man.
All right, later, brother.